Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Agent Batman's movie review podcast. This week, the team reviews War for the Planet of the Apes. As always, I'm Kia, known as Agent Batman. You can follow me on Instagram at Agent Batman, on YouTube as Agent Batman, and you can reach us by email at agentbatmanpodcast@gmail.com. With me on the show today are Emerson and Everett.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
All right, so War for the Planet of the Apes. Let's have a brief non-spoiler review. I have to start by saying that I read all these books prior to the movie. So I read Firestorm, which is it's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Firestorm, which is the book between the first one, Rise, and Dawn. So it covers Caesar's escape into the forest and the outbreak of the virus. Last week, Emerson, we were talking about like what happened, like how I didn't like how Dawn started, where no one even knew about the apes anymore.
Yeah.
And I was saying, couldn't they have sent someone? So this is the story about what happened. So basically, the company, Genesis,
Yeah.
they were owned by like another larger company, and that company hired another segment of their own company that was like sort of like off the books, called Anvil, to come in and find the apes. And what they were trying to do was capture the apes so that they could get a cure while keeping it all quiet. So the book Firestone was actually so good I read it in one day.
Jesus.
Basically, the outbreak starts. We know that the pilot spreads it at the airport. It starts in San Francisco with patient zero. And so the book starts with like one person, two people having the symptoms, and it's like they're like flu-like symptoms and nosebleeds. So you don't like no one really knows what it is, and no one is talking about it either. So all the Genesis people are just like zipped up, like nothing's coming out about what's
Yeah, it's
happening.
the cover-up.
Yeah, there's no quarantine, none of that. So people are already exposed before they even realize. Like it follows like 4 or 5 people. One is a doctor, a young female doctor. Another is a news reporter who ends up breaking the story about what happened. Another is Dreyfus, who's actually Gary Oldman's character.
Okay.
So he was running for mayor, and he's mayor in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, but mayor of like
A colony
whatever's
of
left.
survivors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was actually going for mayor. So there's like scenes of him. He goes up to the hospital and tries to calm down the rioting and blah blah blah. His kids have it. You know, we know that his kids
Yeah.
are dead in Dawn. So this is how he sees his kids get it. The doctor dies. The reporter dies. It's pretty hardcore the way it just like like all these. Basically, the bottom line is they're trying to save face and money. Genesis is, so they don't allow people to get help as quickly as they should have.
Yeah.
And it was so true to life. I'm like, this could totally happen. Now, the only thing about the virus is that it kills really quickly. And that's the only thing that's like, that was a little bit unrealistic, is that there was almost no survival rate at all.
Yeah.
Otherwise, unless you were immune. So there was like no survival rate. And that's what enabled it to like hit so hard. But it also followed this story. They hired a guy who used to be a hunter, a gorilla hunter, and he would like sell the meat.
Yeah.
And so they bring him in, and he's paired up with like this optimistic primatologist. And so they're actually going around, and it was like a great scene. In these books in between, there's not a lot of huge conflict between the apes and the humans because they save that for the movies. And Caesar is also not usually the main character. But in this movie, this gorilla hunter is like tracking the apes, and Caesar is constantly outsmarting them. Just like they put trackers in fruit, and he like found the trackers and then put the trackers far away. And so the guy is like, he's looking at this. He's like, this doesn't make any sense. It looks like orangutans and chimpanzees are next to each other. They're not supposed to do that. Orangutans are solitary, and he starts to realize that he's dealing with something much smarter. There's also a huge cover-up. Do you remember how that gorilla Buck? By the way, I know all the gorillas' names and all
Jumps
the
on
monkeys' names.
the helicopter.
So he jumps on the helicopter. Right? That's Buck. He's the one that Caesar uses to dominate Rocket in the
Yeah.
shelter. So, if you remember that the Genesis guy, Jacobs, I think,
Yeah.
is on that helicopter, and also a policeman that dies, right?
Yeah.
So part of it is that there's this huge cover-up where the policeman died in the helicopter accident, but they don't talk about how it's a gorilla that did it, and all the witnesses that started saying that have been silenced. No one knows what happened. Like basically, there's a huge cover-up. They have no idea if the apes are real. That's why in Dawn they're like, who are these apes and where do they come from? There's like grainy film footage of the apes running across the bridge, but they don't know how many there are or anything like that. And they don't know that they can talk. And then another reason why no one ever really found out is because Genesis had Anvil working in the forest, which was that gorilla hunter guy. That's
Yeah.
why they hired him. And he dies, but by the time that gets resolved, it's already too late for San Francisco. So no one's really coming after them anymore. So yeah, that was Firestorm. I really like that. Then there was Dawn, which I didn't read the novelization of that one, but we know what happens. And then I read Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. No, I think it's War for the Planet of the Apes, Revelations. And this covers what happens immediately after Dawn, where Dreyfus puts out the beacon for the military.
Yeah.
So the aircraft carrier shows up. And with Colonel McCullough, who in War of the Planet of the Apes, we never actually learn his name. He's just referred to as the Colonel.
Yeah. Well, you see his name on his shirt though.
Okay.
Several times.
Okay. So he's Colonel McCullough, and he comes in and he's got his son and a couple other female soldiers and other soldiers, and he goes to war with Caesar essentially, where Caesar he's like not sure what an aircraft carrier is, and it demonstrates kind of like what you were saying, Emerson, about some of the military might, but the military is much more decimated than you and I thought before we saw War of the Planet of the Apes. They are seriously broken apart, splintered. So they kind of have what they have on them, but there's no sense of like you're not calling in airstrikes.
Okay.
After like after you use the ammo that's on the ship, you're not going to call in a jet. Like that's not happening.
Okay.
Refueling is like difficult, and they basically have like in Revelations there was talk of nerve gas. What ends up happening is a couple of the apes get captured, and I like this. It was Blue Eyes, which is Caesar's son.
Mm-hmm.
Rocket travels with him. If you see at the beginning of War,
They're
Blue Eyes
coming
and
back.
Rocket return.
Yeah.
So they sort of get like dispersed, and they get to learn a little bit about Blue Eyes. Blah blah blah. There was also a coup. All right, so Koba tried to take over, right?
Yeah.
And died. But he had some followers. One of these followers was Red.
Gorilla
Red is
yeah.
the gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, when I read the novelization of the movie prior to watching it of War, Red was in the movie. Red is never like named, and they don't seem to know him. Whereas in the book, they absolutely know him. Like, so in War, when the albino gorilla Winter.
Yes, Winter.
When he gets beat up, he calls Red the traitor. He doesn't say Red, because Red has not been set up in the movies, but in the book, his attempt at power is well documented. So I was totally familiar with the character. I know him. So yeah, Red tries to do that. Caesar stays back to hold off McCullough's forces, while the women and children get as far away as possible. And so while he's gone, the gorillas, who are part of the gorilla guard, led by Luca, who is the gorilla in War of the Planet of the Apes,
Mm-hmm.
They stage a coup, and they tell everyone that Caesar has died, and that they're taking over, and they try to murder his wife, his queen, Cornelia. So you get a cool moment in there where she like takes back the throne for Caesar in his absence. And so then it comes down to this battle on the bridge, the San Francisco Bridge, Caesar and the military. And the apes, Blue Eyes and and Ray, who's an ape that was created just for that book, they like steal a submarine with the help of a human, and they crash it into something, I forget what, but it releases the nerve gas. And so there's a brief like skirmish, and then the nerve gas causes both forces to separate, and so that's why there's no like actual blowout there.
Okay.
And then that leads you into war, which is 2 years after Dawn.
So they've been fighting for a while, yeah.
Not quite fighting the way that we see at the beginning. I have to say, I don't know if I said it yet, but the book was way better than the movie. Way, way better. And that's why I started it with this, because I think it definitely impacted my score of the movie. So I wanted to hear what your guys' letter grades were.
So I gave it a B.
A B? Okay. Like, so not B minus?
Not B minus. So the reason why is like, well, I liked it. I thought it was a decent movie. There were things. I mean, what you just said explained a lot of plot holes, but I wasn't a big fan of how the. Well, I don't want to spoil. I'll go into it, but yeah, I'm just gonna say a solid B. Not a B minus, not a B plus. For me, it's just a B.
Everett, how about you?
I'd probably give it a B plus, mainly because I viewed it pretty much as an average movie, but there were a few select scenes that I saw that I really felt were like very like actiony and really awesome, and I felt entranced by this movie in certain like situations.
Okay, we'll get into that then, because I give it I give it a C.
Really? Why?
I told you
I
were
was
gonna
just-
get too hyped up.
I was
I
just too
told
let
you.
down by it.
You got
But the
yourself
books
too hyped up.
were so good. When I read the novelization of War, I'm like, this movie's going to be amazing. And then so many things weren't in it. And I was just like scratching
That's
my
why
head
you
in
read the
theater.
book after you see the movie, dude.
No. I'm glad that my experience was with the book, because the book was like a really good chapter of this story. And I really enjoyed finding out what happened. So we're going to move into spoiler territory now. So big, huge spoilers. When Cornelia and Blue Eyes were killed, let me tell you, that scene in the book made me gasp. And it was way better. Everything was way better. Everything was way better.
But that's because it's a book. In a book, you create the scene in your mind. As long as the writing's good.
The writing was great.
Yeah, I know. As long as the writing's good. Okay, a good book will beat a great movie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It was still kind of surprising that happened in the first place, though.
Yeah. Well, they didn't like. There was no burn up. Okay, so the movie starts the same way the book does, with forests and explosions and that warfare. And for me, like, the movie just kept moving so fast. I was like, damn, they're really not like these. Like, Dawn was kind of a slow burn, and this one was a slow burn, but they didn't burn it at the right parts.
Right.
Like when Preacher is on the phone with the Colonel at the beginning of the movie and he gets captured, that conversation in the book was like heart pounding, where he hides behind in the smoke. There's like smoke everywhere. He's hearing monkey screams. He can't see anything. It lasted like 2 seconds, that part. Then he falls into the trench where he finds the captain. But the movie only sort of like shows you that it's the captain. But he grabs his headset and he tries to call, and he's like, Colonel, and you know, I felt like you could barely understand the Colonel. I mean, I know that was
couldn't
intentional,
understand him for the
okay,
life.
I knew exactly what he was saying because I read the book. So he says, Colonel, are you there? And he responds very calmly, and he says, yes. And he goes, I don't know, there's like monkeys everywhere, shit like that. And the Colonel is like, where are you? And he like looks up, and it's all just trees and smoke, and he's like, I have no idea where I am. And he goes, how many of them are you around you? Something like that. And he's like, he like pauses, and he's like, I really think that it's just me now, because he had been alone for so long. By so long, I mean like a minute. So imagine you're in the battle, and then they start throwing smoke and people start dying, and a minute later, no one's around you.
Yeah.
And so he's in a trench, and he's telling the colonel, he's like, I think I'm the only one here. And then the colonel says, okay, kill as many as you can. That's all he says. And so in this book, that they like sped through it. The conversation was just like really back and forth, back and forth. And I was like, okay, that was the first time where I was like, doesn't seem like they followed the book's like moments. Some of my favorite moments from the book were not in the movie. So yeah, that was disappointing. And then when they weren't addressing Red, as instead like he was just guerrilla trader, I was like, okay, that was weird because he's got like this huge history of almost killing Cornelia and like, okay, whatever. What did you guys think about how they were calling them donkeys?
I was okay with that because, first of all, one of the scenes I did like later on is where he's like, they call you donkey, but you're an ape. And it kind of makes sense because the humans, it seems like what they would do. Because they're using them as pack mules. That's what they're using them as. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I liked it. But it was sort of like demeaning. Did you guys buy that the gorillas would turn like that?
No.
Is
Some
what
of
I'm
the
trying to
other
ask.
apes, yeah, like the smaller ones, but the gorillas, no way. Because I didn't understand, like, if I'm a human, even if I'm ridiculing gorillas, this is one of the things I didn't like about it. I'm not going to be like, yeah, donkey, do what I say. Like, the gorilla's
Yeah.
a 600-pound silverback. I'm not going to, like, bully it.
They went out of their way to show how submissive the gorillas were. They're always like, okay, okay. But in the book, they were actually more submissive. I can't remember now, but I think that they kill one of the monkeys for subordination. Like he doesn't work fast enough, so they kill him. And that sort of, if that wasn't in the book, it should have been in the movie to sort of show you why they're so submissive. But yeah. So basically, Red stages the coup and runs away, and joins the humans because he knows that Caesar will kill him. In the book, Caesar's like, I'm willing to forgive him because Caesar wants all the apes together. In the movie, you don't really get that impression. I also thought that the Colonel wasn't as scary as he was in the book. Was he larger than life for you guys?
No.
Not really.
He seemed like,
Okay.
he felt like they were trying to set him up as larger than life. You could really tell they were. But I was just
Because
like,
it's the unspoken burning moments of the film, or I should say the story, because in the book they were all there. Like the Colonel would many times just be silent. He would just appear and people would like stop what they were doing and listen to him and just like be on their tiptoes because they establish him as pretty crazy even before
the disease.
before you find out that he killed his son and all that, and all his like infected soldiers. He preacher. It was preacher. He tries to warn Caesar. He's like, listen, I owe you one for letting me go. You guys remember?
Yeah.
He's like, I owe you one for. This wasn't in the movie. He's like, I owe you one for letting me go. So, just know that. Don't aggravate him because I've seen him do some pretty awful things. Like they set him up that way, which is not in the movie. And so there's this whole storyline in the book where Caesar starts to think that, hey, I spared this human, and he might be the kind of person I can confide in the way that Will and Malcolm were. And then after that moment, there's another moment where Caesar tries to sort of confide in him again, and he's like, hold the fuck up. Like, I'm still going to kill you. We're not on the same team. And Caesar's like, oh shit, I was wrong about this guy. That's not in the movie. And then that leads to the part at the end where he shoots Caesar.
Yeah.
But they cut that conversation out. Another thing that wasn't in it, Caesar is still very merciful. He lets those original soldiers out. And you know when he finds that soldier with the little girl?
Yeah.
The firewood guy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the movie, they all come up on him together. And it was just so awkward the way it happened. In the book they come up on him together. In the movie, Caesar like goes off to search. Maurice, Luca, and Rocket stay there. By the way, if you guys don't remember, Rocket is the alpha from the shelter
Yeah.
that Caesar
I
dominated.
remember
Um, so and Luca, I don't really remember Luca even from the books. Like he's sort of mentioned. They pitch him as like being old friends with Caesar, like he's been there the whole time. But I don't really. He's leader of the guerrilla guard now. I'm pretty sure. Um, anyway, in the movie, the soldier like literally walks out 2 feet in front of him. And this one, they're like overlooking, and Caesar's there, and he walks out and he sees them, and there's just like slow burn of like, what are we gonna do? And Caesar doesn't want to kill him. He looks at him and he wants to see, like, is he gonna try to kill us? Because if he doesn't try to kill us, then I'm gonna let him live. And of course, the guy drops the firewood. He sees that the monkeys aren't doing anything, and then he tries to. They're actually not monkeys; they're apes. I found out that the difference between monkeys and apes are one of the differences is no tail.
Yeah.
So, um, apes have no tail. So the guy pulls his firearm, and then Caesar shoots him. And he's like, he's not torn up about it. He's just like humans, man. These guys just can't give themselves a break, you know.
But in the movie,
but
it
in
looks
this
like
movie-
he's more like of a vindictive guy, because like
Yeah,
he just like
no, he is.
bang, like he was waiting to
They-
do it.
They
Yeah.
went for that. He's on the outside. The guy comes around. He does draw his weapon, but Caesar just like blasts him, and then he looks at them like, "The fuck you think I was gonna do?" Which is, I thought that the book was better. I don't know. Another thing is that when the girl comes out, and you know they like find her and they bring her out, she looks at the soldier. For some reason, they blur her out and they show like Maurice in the foreground. And so you don't see this moment, but the girl looks at him and doesn't understand that he's dead. You guys see what
Okay,
I'm
see,
saying?
this is one of the other things I had an issue with in the movie. Okay, I'm just gonna go into some issues right now. The reason I didn't give it an A, well, first of all, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but Caesar talking like in the other movies, there've always been like these big moments where Caesar like yells and talks, and this he talks so much and he talks like so well that it kind of lost the impact on me.
But isn't that like the evolution that all
I mean,
the
I
apes have
guess
been
it
going
is,
through?
but just from
No, they're not evolving anymore.
Okay, no, in the movie they are, because that bad ape teaches himself to speak, and Gorilla Red starts speaking at the end.
Here's the thing. They can all speak, but it's difficult for their vocal cords, so they prefer to sign. But Bad Ape never learned sign language, so I think he was forced to learn how to speak. And I don't know about any other monkeys or apes that are from, you know, somewhere else. I don't know about that. But Bad Ape learned to speak, but he never learned to sign. If he had learned to sign, he probably wouldn't have been able to speak as well. Oh, I should mention, I forgot about this. In Firestorm, the one before the first and second movie, they go through Koba's origin. And
Really?
I'm not saying they should have put it in the movie, but man, people like. So basically, he's like an experimental monkey, but like the good kind, where he's with his mother. He's in a little facility place. There's a nice lady there, and so at the end of each day, they play outside, and then the guy comes and he has to put him in. And Koba, he's like a little ape right now. He plays a game where he jumps back from the leash every time, and then the guy says, "Hey, what's that over there?" And Koba knows that this is his cue to look the other way and to let the leash go on him, right? So then the guy quits his job or something, and it's replaced by another guy who's a little bit like kind of the cliche animal abuser. so
So Harry
Koba-
Potter guy from the from the first movie, Malfoy, the cliche
yeah.
animal abuser. Okay.
Oh, Tom Felton?
Yeah. So Koba tries to play the leash game again, and the guy like smacks the shit out of him. He's like, "Get in!" And then he like pulls hard on the leash, and like, you know, Koba's like a little baby, and he doesn't understand what the hell's going on. So this happens day out. Koba learns to just let him put the leash on because he's scared. And then one day, he's like beating up Koba, and his mom gets in the way, and the guy hits the mom, and then the next morning Koba wakes up and the mom is dead. But he doesn't understand. She just doesn't sign back, so he doesn't know what happened to her. And then she goes away, and then they close down the facility. And then he gets sold to a guy for TV shows. And the guy's a drunk. He keeps them in cages all day, and there's another one in there, another ape that can sign back. So Koba misses his mom, but he can talk to someone. But they can't even sit in the cage, it's so small. So he sits in the cage all day in the guy's house, and then in the mornings they take him to the studio where they learn, and of course the guy beats him to teach him,
Yeah.
how to smile and whatever. And Koba learns how to do it. A long story short, they continue this like crazy lifestyle until and there's like fun moments where the other ape Milo like he like learns how to break out of the cage. So when the guy gets drunk and passes out, they like go play in the house. Finally, one day Milo like attacks a kid at the studio, like some shitty kid that was like, "Do a trick," something like that.
Yeah.
So they wire his jaw shut, so he can still smile, but he can't open his mouth anymore.
Jesus.
And so he like dies on the inside. Like he hates his life. I think after that, the show gets canceled. Now the guy's sitting there with apes, and he gets like really depressed. And one day he starts beating the shit out of Koba, and Koba attacks him, fights back, I should say, and the guy cuts Koba's eye with a switchblade, and manages to recapture Koba. And then later, he puts his cigarette out on Koba's eye.
Ooh. So that's why it's all screwed up.
Yeah, and then he kills himself like soon after that. The
That's
guy, like, shoots
fucked
himself.
up.
So then Milo and Koba are like in the house partying, and finally they figure out how to get out, and they like pass out after like binging on food and stuff, and then animal control shows up. Like someone figures out the guy died. Animal control's there. Koba tries to escape. They capture him. They send him to Genesis Labs, and he knows how to sign. And that's when we see in the first movie, Will is like, "Hey, I know that guy." And so actually there was a guy in between Will and the show thing where they can, like, Koba's still look kind of a nice ape, and they're just like they're doing all sorts of experiments on him that make him sick and blah blah blah. He doesn't know what the hell's going on, but he sort of shuts down, like someone who's been abused. He stops like fighting back. He doesn't even care about the treatments that they do to him anymore. And so then he gets picked up by Genesis, and he's a smart ape. And so it even covers it sort of covers his vendetta against Jacobs and why he hates Jacobs and all that. So I thought it was really good, really really interesting.
Okay, see, this is annoying me now because that sounds like all quality information, so now I need to go read those books.
Yeah.
And like
Firestorm, you should definitely.
No, I will.
Firestorm was great.
I will, but okay.
Revelations was decent. It took a little warming up too,
But what I was gonna initially say when you were talking about how they blurred out that the girl doesn't know the guy's dead. Okay.
Well, okay. So she knows he's dead, but she doesn't understand it.
That's the
which
thing.
sort of tells you that something's wrong.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Okay, so multiple times they're talking about how the new virus that's mutated, and it basically makes them like primitive. Okay.
Yeah,
And-
they're reverting to apes essentially.
Yeah, that's what's happening. And like on the one hand, I get it because that's the only way. Because clearly, as shown in the movie, the humans would have won the war. Otherwise, and so that makes sense. And that's also kind of a throwback to the original Planet of the Apes movies, where the humans at the start are primitive and like monkeys. But what I didn't understand, she learned to sign real quick for someone who's supposed to be primitive.
She did. In the book, she learns. In the book, she doesn't sign as much, but she learns like thirsty. She learns apes strong together. She learns hello.
Okay, but I'm
Something
just
like
saying,
that. And
for
that was
someone
about it.
who's like primitive, that's pretty quick.
I didn't understand how dumb she was. Like I couldn't figure it out. In the movie, it was like all over the place.
Yeah, like she was, then she wasn't, then she was smart enough, and like, it was weird. But
Like she understood how to get the food
yeah, and she like
to
understood,
Caesar.
but she didn't understand to hide from the bad people. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, another change was the body in the snow that they find. You know how that guy's awake?
Yeah.
So that guy, like, he wakes up, he's mute immediately, right?
Yeah.
But he, like, gets up and runs. And they're like, what the hell? So that was one difference. In this one, I believe,
No, he
He
just
dies there?
sits there. He just sits there, and then
Don't
they
they
shoot
kill him?
Yeah, they shoot him.
Yeah, as a mercy killing. Okay, I mean, whatever, they changed it. Um, there's also another storyline here where Caesar steals Preacher's keys to the gates, and the apes are super inspired by that. They see that he's stolen it, and Caesar holds on to it, and it's actually one of the reasons why the girl doesn't get discovered and why the doll does. Because Caesar is trying to hide the key and the girl at the same time. He's holding the key in his hand, and like the colonel is staring right at him, and he sees the doll instead. And he's like, "What's this?" Yeah, so there was no key storyline here, except at the end they just grabbed it. They pulled the guy down and threw the key up, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is Everett still here? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here. No, I'm just.
we just hear, oh, like Everett's gone primitive.
That's a little hard to speak. I'm just.
Yeah,
listening
okay.
for now.
But no, yeah, I remember that. I want to say that I thought the middle of the movie was pretty boring.
Yeah, it got boring.
Between directly getting at the the compound and essentially like after they meet, even Bad Ape's kind of boring. Like at first it's like, oh shit, but it's like, okay, they're following them and like so
No, it was boring. It was. First of all, they call it war for the Planet of the
there's
Apes.
not much war.
It
That's
was-
another thing. The biggest battle scene wasn't apes versus humans. It was humans versus humans.
Yeah.
And they're
I mean, they
retarded
should've called
humans.
it-
They brought an avalanche down on them, and for some reason they have attack helicopters, and the colonel's decision is to wall himself in, even though artillery would have been unguided artillery could have destroyed that. And then they like charge. I don't know. It was.
I don't think that
super-
the helicopters were in the book, because I don't remember them.
They featured
But,
super heavily in the movie.
Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, the movie definitely got boring. I've been listening to the director do his press routines, and he talked about like a biblical movie, where Caesar delivers them, the apes, right? He becomes like much larger than life now, even though he kind of already was, but now he's like this biblical hero to the apes, which is fine, but that's not war for the Planet of the Apes. That's Bible for the Planet of the Apes
Yeah.
or something. So the movie was just like, when I was reading the book, I didn't hate it, but I was like, this is interesting. Like, so there's war at the beginning, and then they go on their merry journey, and then it becomes a prison movie,
Yeah.
and then it becomes like an escape movie.
Yeah,
like
I
a
noticed
prison break
that at the
movie.
end. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's a prison.
And-
And I was okay with the prison parts. Like, I liked seeing the apes, like, outsmart them. But even that was pretty dumb. Like, okay,
It was just so small scale.
And here's the other thing. Okay, you're telling me that these human guards, first of all, they know the apes can sign. So if I was a guard, I'd be like, huh. But okay, I could get that maybe they don't notice that. But there is no way all those child apes would have escaped. No way someone wasn't like, what's that? And like shot them. And furthermore,
How did the child apes
remember
escape?
they like climbed on a rope that was like above the
yeah.
compound? That was
Yeah.
no way.
I thought that was weird too.
And then
Yeah.
also, that one guard, they throw the poop at him and he goes down. No military guard is going to walk into a thing with like 100 smart apes.
Okay, I may have misread it in the book, but you know how he was at his guard tower?
Yeah.
That's where they hit him with the poop. And I can't remember now how that scene ended, but I don't think he went into the cage. The reason he went into the cage was so that they could pull him in the hole. The book was kind of hard to understand, like where everything was. I didn't understand. I thought Rocket was separate. It was weird, but yeah, I feel like they dispatched him a different way. I think Caesar may have escaped already. I don't remember. But okay. So what do you guys think about how Caesar lets Preacher go? Then they cut out the part where Caesar tries to befriend him, and then later Caesar kills him. Did you guys care? Did you guys know that was the same guy?
First of all, it took me a while to figure out he was the same guy.
Okay, in the book that's extremely clear.
Well,
But
I was like, is it the same guy? He's got the crossbow. Yeah, he's the same guy. But I was just like, okay, yeah, it's the general. He's a dick, and he always will be.
Yeah, it kind of took me a while to figure that out as well, but once I figured that out, I felt like it was a little bit more surprising than like what if I hadn't figured that out. Just because, I mean, he spared his life, so you'd kind of expect, even though he's an ape, you'd kind of expect him a little bit, like to show a little bit of kindness, but I guess not. So.
Well, I mean, at that point, I would have killed him too.
well, that's why there's that part in the book where he's like, "Don't think that for any second that I wouldn't kill you if I was supposed to," you know.
Yeah.
And so he does. He tries to anyway.
I don't know why, but for some odd reason, I walked into this movie thinking that the humans were going to be a lot more sadistic to the apes in this movie.
Everett's like, why weren't they raping the apes?
No, that's not what I mean. But I mean, like, because we're sitting here talking about, like, you know, apes learning how to sign. I'm surprised, like, when, like, because there were a couple scenes, like, where you see, like, ape prisoners. I'm surprised they didn't, like, honestly, I'm surprised they didn't torture them a little bit more.
Yeah,
Well, it would have been more like war.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so he makes him build the wall. Was that clear what happened? Because in the book,
I mean, it was clear that he was making them build a wall, but I just thought that was idiotic. Like, I don't know.
It was a weird turn of the story that they're suddenly. But the reason they did it is so that you could have that scene where Caesar is like, "Leave him."
Yeah. But, like,
Again. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, I started to wonder if they were just going to say, oh, yeah, they're all primitive this whole time. That's why they're building the wall. Because I was like, for someone who's supposed to be, like, really intelligent and, like...
That would have been a funniest twist. Oh, the reason they failed because they spent all their time building a wall because they're fucking idiots. They're like, they have no brain cells left.
Well,
and so they lose.
I just
That's
say
how the humans
this guy's
fall.
supposed to be this, like, genius colonel who's, like, a military mastermind, and he's like, I'm gonna force monkeys to make a wall out of, like, wooden rocks against the enemy military force. And I was just like, there's no way. Like, why? I didn't understand.
Yeah, but so that scene where Caesar says leave him,
Yeah,
that's supposed to be a callback to when he says no,
I know.
right? Did you guys get that?
But like,
All right.
it was,
In the book, that scene had the tension turned up. Like it just went too quickly. It went too quickly. Like by the time I could even sort of understand what they were doing, like taking the scene, he was already saying leave him, and there was a lot of tension in the book. A lot of tension. Same as in the beginning, which we haven't talked about the scene yet, but in the beginning when they're in the cave fortress, and Caesar has his son back, he's thinking about. There was actually some argument about whether or not they should go to the paradise place. Caesar didn't believe it. He also thought that he couldn't move all the people out. So they're all sleeping at night. Caesar is up and awake and thinking about it. And so the book actually has like a lot of breathing room by the time Caesar suddenly sees the green light of the laser sight. You know?
yeah.
In the movie, it seems like the kid Blue Eyes returns immediately. They celebrate very quickly. Then they're asleep very quickly, and then the soldiers are there very quickly.
Yeah.
It all happens so
I also like to
fast.
point out, while I was watching it in the theater, there was like something wrong with the projector, so there were 3 permanent green like dots on the screen,
Oh.
like tiny
Oh.
green dots. But like at first I was like, oh shit, they already have a laser on Caesar, because like he's like on the screen. I was like, they're gonna take him out right now, and then they're like always there. And then at first when you see the green flashes going down, I was like, oh god, what's happening on the screen now? And I was like, oh wait, this is part of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, so you see that. I like that shot where the gunfire's happening in the darkness, and
Yeah.
I think it's Rocket. Rocket is beating the hell out of the guy.
Yeah.
So Blue Eyes dispatches the first guy. I think that's shown on screen too.
Yes, it is.
And then he like triumphantly saves his family, and then his mother sees the soldier behind him, and his mother tries to leap to protect him. And then it cuts to like Caesar running through
Yeah.
the cave, and then later Caesar goes and okay, and I don't want to shit on the movie. Like I said, in the book, I gasp when this happened. He sees the colonel, and in my mind, the colonel's like so much larger than life because of the way it's written. Caesar is like scared of him too. He's like, He's like, this is the one that they call the Colonel, and he comes down on the rope, or he turns around, and he sees Caesar, and then he looks quickly to Blue Eyes and Cornelia and their bodies, and he sees, you know, and then Caesar looks there too, and he sees that they're dead, and I was like, whoa, they killed them, you know, after having read all these books about them now, and in the movie, it was almost comical.
Yeah, he was like,
did you guys think so?
He was kind of like, oh shit, I killed the wrong one.
The slow
Or
motion,
he's like
the close-up.
embarrassed. It's kind of like, it's like the thing you
Yeah.
like, in like Friends, they would like look to the side as like the lamp falls down, and then they'd both look. That's what it felt like. Like, oh damn.
Something I wanted to laugh, and then there's like the Colonel starts firing, and Caesar does this slow motion roll, ninja roll.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, this is so stupid. It was awful. I don't know. I'm telling you, maybe the book ruined it for me, but that scene was a lot different when I read it, as opposed to the movie. And then there were other parts, just like the apes fighting, the apes scurrying, the apes talking, where I was like trying not to laugh. It seemed comical to me. Did you guys ever get that? Did any parts seem
Well, that's
like
the thing.
funny
I'm
to
saying
you?
the fact that they're like talking so much,
A lot of the talking, yeah.
like stop.
Yeah.
Like I think it weakens it because it also becomes like, okay, I could just watch people doing this, and like, but they're apes, so
I mean, that, and wouldn't the apes be a lot more, like, they would feel a lot more imposing if they stood there and, like, didn't talk as much. Then they would be,
yeah,
like,
they feel imposing in the
intelligent
earlier
and
movies.
silent.
They're intelligent, they're silent, and they're like they're supposed to be smarter, but instead they're like talking stuff over and like, But anyways, okay, so
Well, the other thing while we're on that, I also thought that Andy, you know, they made Caesar look more like Andy Serkis, which
Yes.
makes him look more human. I don't like it.
yeah, no, I liked how he
looks
used
too
to look.
human.
He doesn't
Yeah.
even look like an ape. He looks like a hybrid.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was just gonna move on to like the final battle.
Well, okay. There's some other differences
yeah,
I
go
want to
ahead.
go over. So when they escape, there's this other part, this other like side plot where it's time to escape, but the Colonel has been behaving erratically. Okay, so the first thing, like, you know how he addresses the soldiers in the morning, shaving his head.
Yeah.
Every morning he like addresses them like that.
Mhm.
One day he shows up in like his dress blues. And
Is this supposed
no
to
one
be
knows what-
hinting at that he's like starting to go insane?
Yes, but okay, not the movie didn't touch on this at all. The movie kept it as like a big secret, and then I don't know because I already knew the twist. So when you guys saw it, what did you think when you find out that he's infected with the mutation virus?
Well, I assumed he was gonna end up having it, and like that's why he was being a dick. But I was like, because you could kind of tell, because like they made such a big deal out of like, I hate it, I purified it, I killed my own son, da 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 da. I was like, okay, so clearly he's gonna get it, and it's gonna be the karmic justice.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see it coming when I read the book. Did you see it coming, Everett? We
You
lost
guys sound
Everett.
extremely robotic to me.
Yeah, your connection seems to be. It's fine. I don't think it'll affect the recording.
Here, hold on.
But it might. Sorry to anyone who's listening. Okay, so he shows up in his dress blues, and this is when Caesar
there it goes.
is. You good?
Yeah, I can hear you guys now.
Okay, so this is when Caesar is trying to hide the girl and the key
Mm-hmm.
in the book. So the Colonel shows up, and like he's like, why is he here now? He shows up, and he starts rambling with Caesar. Like he usually barely talks. He's usually like huge presence, stone faced. Like there are so many scenes in the book. You know when Red throws the water on Caesar?
Yeah.
And like you see that the Colonel is watching.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Mhm.
there's a lot of more scenes like that where the Colonel is just like this huge presence constantly bearing down on Caesar and the apes and even the other soldiers. So here he shows up, and this is completely out of character, and he's rambling, and this is why I didn't get that he was going to become mute, because he was talking, you know, and he's very enigmatic. So he starts talking about things that Caesar doesn't exactly understand, and you know, he's talking about his life and blah blah blah, and he's like, you know, I met a man who said he knew you, and Caesar's like, who? And he's like, he said he worked with you in the forest, and this is Malcolm from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. He's like, he says you were amazing. He says I should try to work with you, and blah 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 blah, right? And Caesar goes, what happened to him? And the Colonel sort of trails off, and he's like, I think I shot him. And so that sort of that tells you that he killed Malcolm for fraternizing with the apes. And so Caesar's like, that's even worse. Like, that's just his wife, his son, and now Malcolm too. And they didn't put it in the movie.
Yeah, I was wondering where, like, yeah, because I know you'd read like a page of it to me, of one of the books before you left, and Caesar was talking about how Malcolm helped him like learn about war, and I was like, where's Malcolm then?
Yeah, so he killed Malcolm, and then he sort of trails off, and I can't remember if this is the same part. Did we lose Everett?
Yeah, something's going on, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay. I can't remember if this is the exact part where he finds the doll, but basically, like, when he takes the doll, he's not he's not like a mutant yet, or infected, I should say.
A mutant.
He's just sort of like he's just being weird. So it throws you off because he takes the doll and you're like, what is he doing? Then he shows up later and he's even weirder.
Yeah.
Okay. So the final battle. There's a huge part where they're trying to leave, but the Colonel, his lights are still on in his room. Like, you know how you can see them?
Yeah.
So the lights are still on, and they're waiting for him to go to bed so that they can escape, but he won't do it. And this is what delays the plan right up until
the other soldiers attack.
They show up. Yeah, there's a huge part where Caesar is just like reluctant to leave, and the Colonel is not going to bed, and you don't know what the hell is going on. Okay, so he's just Everett. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, but you guys sound extremely robotic and are speaking very slowly.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that'll show up on Audacity though.
It won't if he's recording his own audio. But anyways, okay, yeah, what were you saying?
But we can't understand him, so when Caesar goes into that room and the Colonel is in there, I kind of wanted him to take the Colonel's gun and to leave him in that state.
So he suffers.
Yeah.
As long as he is aware of it, at least.
Yeah, and that would be sweet revenge. Instead, he shows another act of mercy. What'd you think about that?
I mean, I thought that made sense because, like, at least from the movie's perspective, he's struggling with, like, he doesn't want to be like Koba, but he kind of is being like Koba. He's angry, but he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I thought at the end that was good because he beat his demons. He was strong.
Yeah.
Like, he could have killed him, and it's not like he was an idiot there, because I'm sure if the Colonel had not been a blithering idiot, I think he would have killed him. But when he realized the Colonel was an idiot like that, he's like, I'm not going to kill this defenseless thing. And so I took it as very, like, a sign of strength.
Okay. And what'd you think about Red getting killed?
Yeah, that was good.
That
It was a little cliche, though.
It was.
I thought that. Yeah, I
but,
thought that was. Go on.
Okay.
Go ahead, Everett.
Yeah,
haven't said
Everett, you.
anything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sorry, no, my connection's shit. I said a little earlier that I felt like entranced by a couple scenes in the movie. This one scene, even though it was cliche, just like when you see Red fire that grenade launcher and then you see the soldier just pull out like the gun and just shoot him in the head. That scene, like, I felt like I just like, kind of sat there with my mouth open for a minute because I thought that just I couldn't like really I can't even explain it really. I really thought that was an
Powerful.
powerful scene. Yeah.
But
Well,
I
see,
feel like he had already gone too far to the other side.
he had, but that's the point. He had screwed up, but
Yeah.
his final act allowed the other apes to survive. It's not like he was saving Caesar for Caesar. He was saving Caesar so Caesar could stop the people from killing the other apes.
In the book, he's impressed. Like, despite everything, he sees Caesar like charging with the grenades in his hand and still trying to save the apes, and he's like, in a way, he's like still moved by that.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
I don't know. I didn't really like that Caesar died. Although I don't really think that he should have lived. I don't like the
He
way
should
that,
have
that he
ascended
gets
to
shot.
godhood.
I don't like that he gets shot by Preacher. Because he
Well,
let
he,
Preacher
he-
go. I don't
also,
like
I'd
that.
like to point in the movie, like, for a bullet wound, like, it took a few days for that to kill him. Like, I don't know. I feel like there should... The
It was a crossbow.
crossbow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. For the crossbow bolt, like, I don't know. Like, I feel
mean,
like
he
after a
pulled
few
the-
days, he should have been okay.
Well, I'm okay with that because I feel like he was hanging on to see them safe, and then it was over. His body was like, okay, you're done.
Didn't he pull the bolt out as well? I mean, wouldn't that have caused
He-
internal bleeding?
He like
snapped
broke it,
the-
yeah. So the
arrow.
the head was still in his body.
Another thing that wasn't in the book as much was Caesar's struggle was when he was like chained up
Yeah.
to the X. That was also a lot longer, and he suffered a lot, and so that's just something that they didn't play up as much. Like it was moving so fast. I don't know. Did you get the sense that the soldiers really believed in the colonel?
Some of them.
Yeah, some of them. I mean, others of them seemed scared of him. In the movie, I just think that the colonel's presence, and I don't think it was the casting, but the colonel's presence was just underwhelming. What do you guys think about Caesar getting whipped?
I think it was a good moment because, like, he's a king, and you have to remember his name is Caesar, so
Well, that's because of the older movie. There's a Caesar that sort of leads them.
yeah, I know, but like it's still symbolic. Caesar, the emperor, the kingmaker,
Yeah.
and he's being whipped. And I thought it
feel
was a
like,
good scene.
Yeah, I feel like this movie kind of tries that a couple times where they either set something up for a massive fall or a massive reveal, or they use a lot of symbolism. Like, that was one, and then I was going to say earlier, but my internet connection was turning into shit, how they were trying to turn the colonel in like this big imposing figure, and then at the end when he gets infected and you see him like at his low, under Caesar, like at his mercy, you kind of like feel that implication
Uh
of like rise and fall.
huh. Yeah, and he also I don't know. He was a good leader. I really like the part at the beginning of the movie where he's walking through the forces, his troops, and they're all like bewildered by him. And then later they all turn away because he sort of let them down. But I also feel like that wasn't his fault. That situation was sort of contrived. Like,
Well, yeah,
really,
it's like
Caesar's done so much for
it's
you
his
already.
fault that you guys got captured. Like,
Yeah.
would it have been better
All
if
of
he
you.
was there to get captured with you?
Yeah. Okay, so did you guys see the doll thing coming? Like when the colonel picked up the doll, did you guys were you like, oh, he's gonna get infected?
Well, first of all, one of the things I was like, okay, so if the disease is mutating, don't you want to like keep the apes at a distance, and anything that like the apes are touching at a distance?
All right. Well, here's what I was getting towards, and I don't really understand. So, the apes have the same virus that the humans have, except it makes apes smart. It makes humans sick. Now it's mutated to where now everyone that's still alive has the virus. They're just immune to it. They have it though.
Yeah, it's in them.
And then it mutates to something else. So the apes, I think it can be transferred. Obviously, it can be transferred between apes and humans. but it just affects them differently. And that's how Bad Ape came to be, because the humans gave him the virus.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Well, no, because the virus is airborne.
Right, but he got it from like being around people.
Yeah.
Like it started in San Francisco, but it spread everywhere, and so that means that there's other apes like him. I read that Bad Ape was supposed to represent what would have happened had the apes not had Caesar. Like, you know how everyone died
Yeah.
that he knows? Yeah. So, yes, did you guys see the doll thing coming?
Well, here's the thing.
Kind-
when he picks up the
kinda.
doll, there's like a speck of blood on it,
Yeah.
kind of where the nose is.
Yeah, that wasn't in the book. I did notice that in the movie.
That was one of the things that also solidified me that he's gonna get infected. First of all, I was like, well, you're picking up the doll, you're probably gonna get infected.
That was, yeah, it was so obvious.
Like,
because there's blood on it. Like, why are you touching
there's
that?
blood on it, plus that doll is held by the girl who's clearly. But like, also like, since the blood is right where the nose is, I'm like, okay, so clearly, like, everything. It's so obvious that he's gonna get infected.
Yeah, they shouldn't have put the blood there. That definitely wasn't in the book. If it was, I didn't catch it. So underdeveloped characters for both humans and ape. Really didn't like. Who had a strong arc in this movie? You could even argue against Caesar.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of true.
I don't know. Bad Ape. Did you guys think he was funny?
I couldn't get because I looked up who played him at the
Steve
before I saw
Zahn.
this movie. Yeah, I couldn't take it seriously when I realized it was Steve Zahn.
He, I mean, he was. Was he funny? Yeah, but for the movie, it was just like, what are you doing? Like,
I saw it in the theater with like 4 people, and no one laughed ever, and I didn't think he was funny. You know, it's like he was pandering for children.
yeah.
And also, he's like an old ape, and he had kids, and he's like a baby.
Yeah.
He acts like a baby. The one moment he did have, though, was when he imitates how they called him Bad Ape.
Yeah.
That was powerful. Everything after that, I really didn't care.
Yeah, by the way,
He
I'd
was
like to
kind of-
point out how dumb IGN.com is, because I remember reading something before seeing the movie, and they're like, enter Bad Ape, a deranged ape with, like, a destructive past who will, like, tear the group apart. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, this is not him at all.
Wow.
So
Who wrote
Okay,
that?
IGN.
Jesus.
So his I guess one of the purposes of his character is to tell you that other apes have been infected by airborne through the air, whatever. So their band of apes are not the only ones who have become smart. So, you know, I guess that tells you who wins. I mean, the title says Planet
Okay.
of the Apes, and I was listening to the director, and he's like, we already know that it ends with Planet of the Apes, as in they take over. That was always going to happen.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, I was wondering if this one was going to be like the war, and then we figure out who wins, and maybe there's like,
well, that's what
maybe
I don't
something
like.
still goes wrong.
It was kind of like the humans. First of all, the humans fought a war against themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
And then nature killed them. And also a disease kind of won the war. One thing I will say, so I don't know if you guys know this, a 4th movie has been green-lighted.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Well,
In
I mean, they were
2016.
planning to, but Caesar is not.
He's not going to be the
coming
main.
in. It's coming in 2016.
No, we've already passed 2016. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it started production in 2016.
Are you sure?
According to what I read, look it up. But no, Caesar's not going to be the main guy. But there is a 4th movie.
Yeah, I mean.
Are you sure it's not like a spin-off or something?
No. It's just the next one. It's gonna lead to that first one where that space shuttle.
No,
comes
that's
back.
what I'm saying. I'm actually kind of excited for that, if only because, like, in the first movie, they had the Mars mission, and they're gonna come back and be like, why are all the humans simple? Why are the apes in control? And then
Why did shit hit the fan in the most disastrous way possible?
Well, I mean, I'm excited for the books. Let's put it that way. I wasn't over the moon with Dawn, and now I think Dawn is better than um, War. So, do you guys rank it the same way? Rise is definitely the best to
Rise
me,
is the best.
by far.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, I like Rise a lot more, but for me specifically, I just feel like the second and the third one are sort of
Oh.
equal, with the second one being a little bit
By
better.
the way, I'd like to point out in the original Planet of the Apes movies, the reason they end up enslaving apes is because a disease kills all the world's cats and dogs, so they use apes as
Yeah.
household pets.
Yeah.
What? Okay, I did. Wow, I didn't
No,
know
it's
that.
kind of stupid. If I read the synopses of all the old movies, and yeah, there's some weird stuff, but there's some good stuff in there too. Okay, so here's what the director says. Matt Reeves, who's also going to be directing the Batman. We absolutely have ideas about where it goes because we know that that's the ending, that it becomes the Planet of the Apes. The cool thing about what was started in Rise is that it's no longer about what happens; it's about how it happens. And stories are about how, and stories about how are always about character and psychology. Caesar's apes are not like the apes in Planet of the Apes, right? He means like the original.
Yeah.
They're very brutal to the humans. That's not what's going on. So how did that happen? And you know that Caesar had such integrity and that he has this sort of sense of right and wrong, of his morality, yet you watch that being challenged. He ends up having to kill one of his own. All of those things give us a chance to explore human nature and do it in a way that is really fun because these are all frankly totally new stories. We're not doing any stories that have been done. That is exactly what I want from this series.
You want
What
them
do
to
you
be
guys think?
evil and like mean?
No, no, no. Here's what I want because Caesar. Okay, if this happened today, I would be on the side of the apes. Why? Because I'm pretty sure I could fit in. But no. Because humans, we've had so much control for so long, and all we do is ruin it. Global warming, war, just nickel and diming pharmaceuticals, like all sorts
Well,
of stuff
the
like
apes
that.
seem to be moving towards that. They're fighting
That's
each
what I'm
other,
saying.
staging coups.
That's what I'm saying. What I want this to say about humanity is not only should we fail, do we deserve to fail? Have we like already in 2017, I think we've already gone longer than we deserve to because we have screwed up so many things. So many terrible things happen now just for money. You know, we're literally ruining the planet while a select few people are ruining the planet to make money. And like we don't deserve it. We really don't. And then you have these apes in the story. There's no racism. You know, they're not meant, the gorillas, bonobos, chimpanzees, orangutans, they're not supposed to coexist and live with each other. Yet here they are. Apes together strong. Like they're all working together. Their society is much cleaner, is much more you know, and the only reason Kobo was so disturbed is because of humans. And you know, you look at his origin and you can be like, yeah, I mean, it's meant to pull on your heartstrings, but we all know that people treat animals like that. What did we do to circus animals? You know, how do you get them to do all those weird tricks? You stab them, you prod them. Um, and I'm not talking about like hunters. I'm talking about zoos, you know, things like that. And like we really don't deserve it. But the apes, even though they have this great beginning, in my opinion, which is kind of like what the director said, as time goes on, they're going to get bigger. And it's almost like quality control, you know? If the whole world is 10 people, the person in charge can keep those 10 people in line. But when it becomes 1,000,000 people, then you're going to have to start delegating, right? And things are going to get weird. And that's sort of what humanity has become, is like there's so many of us, so many wheels are turning that you can't control it all. And you're going to get exploitation and corruption and abuse. And I think eventually the apes will become like the humans and the roles will reverse. So my idea for the sequel, now that we're in 3, we need a goddamn war movie, all right? So number 4 needs to be, I think, from the character of the point of view of the humans, and give us a real war movie. Apes versus humans. You guys interested in that?
I mean, at
If it
this
was,
point,
if it was
the
made
humans are
well
all
and written
dead
well, then yeah.
or infected.
That's what I'm saying. The humans, we're now there's got to be a transition movie where the humans become the minority and then they become the oppressed ones. And it's
And
the
then
same
it's their
thing.
revolution.
And it's the same thing. That's how, in my mind, it would happen anyway. Because as they become more and more human, as they grow, as they build infrastructure, they're going to start becoming corrupt and things are going to fall apart the same way we did. I don't know if it's going to be global warming, but there's going to be ugliness. You know, even if you go back in history, it's not modern humans. Like, there's tons of horrific stuff that's happened. And Caesar has already killed one of his own, and they have already tried to kill him. So it's going that way. So I'd like to see the roles reversed in the next trilogy, let's say.
Mhm.
And then the humans take control and the roles reverse again. And
So I would have number 4 be like actual war, and then number 5 jump into time, and you get the Mars mission to return back.
But
to
okay,
Earth.
but I thought the point is at this point there's no one left to fight the apes after this one.
I don't think that was the whole army. But that was what that allowed the guys that went under the avalanche. I think that allowed Caesar and the apes to leave and to be lost again. Maybe for another 10 years, maybe for another 50 years, whatever they want to do. But by the time the military is done fighting each other and engages these apes again, I think that they're going to be extremely overmatched.
Assuming the disease doesn't destroy them.
It will destroy many of them, yeah.
This is really weird because now you got me thinking about war movies just replaced with apes. Like imagine like if Hacksaw Ridge was replaced
Saving
was
with apes.
supposed to be.
Private Chimpanzee.
Wasn't this supposed to be that
I
movie?
mean, yeah, it's called
like, hey, it's
War.
war. Humans versus apes.
Yeah. And
Right?
the trailers made it
Something
look like it was going to be a war movie.
Yeah, they literally showed all the war scenes, the 2 war scenes.
Yeah.
Made it seem like, oh shit, it's going to hit the fan this time. And then it's like, no, this is the Great Escape but with monkeys. But I have to wonder, like, honestly, some of the monkey stuff seemed, no pun intended, seemed funny, like comical. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't take it seriously watching them. I mean, I didn't feel that way in the other 2. In the other 2, I was like, this is real. But this one, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like how the women had braids. I'm like, did they do that so that we know that's a female? Or did they do that because they're becoming more human-like? And they're starting to, like, wear braids?
It was definitely so we know they were female.
Yeah. So, it just seems silly. Whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
I also thought that their like structure and like lifestyle was better in Dawn, where they had that forest shelter, and you know the women had like veils and they were doctors and there was like a classroom. You didn't really see any of that
Yeah.
in this one. So, okay, that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will definitely buy and read the next book that comes.
yeah, I think I'm gonna do that too, based on what you've said about these books.
They were great. I was on the cruise. I was reading them.
Yeah, if you could give the books a grade, what would they be?
The first one, Firestorm, A+. The second one, which is Revelations, that one I give a B. B+. It's just, I liked it a lot, and then I read the novelization of the third movie, which I liked a lot. I give that an A. And then I read Firestorm, which was an A+. So in comparison to those 2, now I make it a B, whereas before I thought it was an A. I definitely read it in like a matter of days. So,
All right.
yeah. Okay, so those are Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Firestorm, War of the Planet of the Apes Revelations, and War of the Planet of the Apes novelization. And there's a novelization of Dawn also, but I didn't read that. I might go back and read it. So that was great. So we're gonna keep going with this episode though, because Everett went to Comic-Con, right?
Mm-hmm. I did.
And so I was on the cruise ship and I had terrible Wi-Fi and I really couldn't keep up with all the news that was happening. So I'm gonna need you to break it down.
All right. I made a big checklist of everything that I saw and I read about it. There's a lot though, so just
Okay.
get ready.
Just-
All right. So
Hit it, yeah.
So I made a checklist, and I basically I ordered things just by movies and TV and games and other things. So let's start with movies. So the first one that it happened on Saturday. They had the Hall H presentations. They had Warner Brothers. They had Marvel. They had Steven Spielberg come out for a couple days for Ready Player One. So I guess we can start with that. The trailer for Ready Player One dropped, and if you watch it, it is one of the craziest trailers ever. Because
really?
If you're a gamer,
it started autoplaying for me, and I was like, I don't care.
No, if you watch it, like it actually is pretty crazy because it looks pretty good. The animation style is really clear and really clean, and honestly, like if you play a lot of games and you read a lot of comics, it's an insane Easter egg fest. They have the Iron Giant standing next to like a ninja of some sort. They have Deathstroke and Harley Quinn. They have
Harley Quinn.
They have, I swear to God, they have a scene of Freddy Krueger being gunned down by some weird ape with a machine gun from Halo.
Okay, wait. This is in the trailer?
Yes,
this is
in the trailer.
For Ready Player One?
Yeah, Ready Player One.
I've seen it as well.
What is Ready Player One?
Ready Player One was it's a book. I forget
that.
the guy who wrote it, but
Steven.
Basically, it's about, at least, I'm going to be honest, I didn't read the book, but the trailer basically explains that people are going back for nostalgia.
They're in a virtual reality world.
Yeah, they're in a virtual reality world, and the whole thing is that the guy who created the game basically dies in the book, spoilers, and leaves behind this like clue that inside the game.
Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm just catching some static. I'm not sure if you're echoing.
Am I echoing?
I'm not sure. I'm catching static right now that I didn't have before. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I don't know. Hopefully this part of the podcast sounds good.
Okay.
Not sure what the problem is.
You want me to continue then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, so anyway, yeah, the guy who creates the game dies and leaves behind this clue that there's something in the game that can be redeemed for like millions of dollars. So everyone's in the game hunting it down. That's basically the gist of it.
So I saw this trailer. It did look clean, I will admit. However, I have also not read the book. When I looked at it, I just saw pop culture pandering. Look how cool everything is. Now, reading the synopsis of the book right now, it looks like that's actually what the book is. So, who cares? But like when I saw the trailer, I was like, "And there's the Iron Giant, and there's Harley Quinn, and there's Freddy Krueger." I was like, "Yeah, we get it. You know about pop culture." But now that if that's what the book is, which it seems to be, then yeah.
I mean, it warranted a Hall H presentation, which means it's pretty big. So that's only one of the things, though. Like, let's move down the list. So the next thing, so there was that. There was also the Warner Brothers for Justice League. They had a bunch of people from Justice League there. The new Justice League trailer dropped, which, did you guys see it?
I did see it.
Yeah?
I only had time to see it once. I didn't care for it.
Yeah? I liked it, because I think they
Can
made
you
this
remind me some of the highlights? Because I only saw it once.
They made a reference to Green Lantern in it. They had Steppenwolf talking, and they had a whole bunch of scenes of him dropping down in Themyscira, and he's in Atlantis, and they made it seem a lot more fun than the last trailer. Like, it seems like a more fun movie after seeing this, just in my opinion.
Tell me again what was like the reveal? There was like a reveal.
It's
Right?
The reveal was it's Steppenwolf, and they showed him off a little bit. They had him talking, saying like, "No lanterns, no Kryptonian. This world will fall, just like the others." They showed him like abducting the mother box that's in Themyscira.
At the end, Alfred sees Superman. I'm assuming.
I think that's what they were hinting at. You know who it is, but we can all assume it's Superman because Superman is pretty much everywhere in the marketing for this now. Like
Yeah.
They have
Hot Toys just put out some of their like little action figure things, and Superman's part of it.
Well, we know he's in the
at
movie
display.
because they announced that they're having to do they're doing 2 months of reshoots for it, and it's an issue because Henry Cavill's not allowed to shave his mustache for Mission Impossible 6, so they're CGIing it.
That kind of gives me a little less hope. That might look weird.
They could CGI the mustache.
They said they're
Why
not
can't they
shaving
just
it.
give him a fake
They
mustache?
said no. They're just like no, it has to be real.
Okay,
All right.
interesting.
Okay, so if you guys want to talk a little bit more about Justice League, yeah, that's the trailer. I thought it looked
Okay.
cool.
Here's the thing. This is for my Hot Toys collectors listeners right now, but I really don't think I'm gonna buy the action figures from Hot Toys, which you guys know that's pretty weird because I buy
All of
a
them.
lot of, yeah.
Mhm.
So, okay, I don't think that this has legs. I think that this franchise is going down.
Justice League.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman will stick around. I don't think Ben Affleck is gonna be Batman much longer.
Yeah, there
For
were
sure.
there were two things they said about that I'll mention later, but go on.
Well, no, mention them now.
Well, no, like I was gonna mention that number one, they officially announced that they greenlit Wonder Woman 2 at the Comic-Con, so
Okay,
that's
yeah.
official.
With Patty Jenkins, right?
Yeah.
As the director. Okay.
And then number two is that they asked Ben Affleck in an interview at Comic-Con whether or not he was leaving the role of Batman, and he didn't really address it. So
Oh, he's fucking out. That's all I
Wait,
need.
wait,
He's
wait.
fucking
Say
out.
that again.
they had an interview with him asking him, because there are the rumors that he's leaving the role as Batman, and he kind of dodged it. He didn't exactly address it. He kind of dodged the question.
I love.
Didn't I call
his
this?
Joy.
I called this.
Yeah. You called it.
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing is, if he was actually leaving, there's no way he would do it before Justice League came out. So we have to wait and see. Now, if he doesn't announce it after Justice League, then maybe there's like discussion or they're still in talks. But for sure, it's not that he's gonna be Batman unless we hear otherwise. I don't get that impression. I feel like we still don't know.
Yeah.
Even though they've sort of said he is, and then it's been wishy-washy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Um,
So he kind of dodged the question, but at the same time, he also he denied it. But people are saying he's dodging it like completely.
Fucking which one is it? Did he deny it or did he dodge it, or did he answer?
Well,
it?
Matt Reeves, the director of Planet of the Apes, who's also doing the Batman, they asked him again recently. I mean, I don't know how recent. I've been gone for 10 days, but they asked him, "Hey, is Ben Affleck definitely going to be your Batman?" And he's like, "As far as I know, yeah." Which is to say that he doesn't know. I mean, that's not a yes, if you ask me. What do you mean, as far as you know? You mean since the last time you talked about it, because you're doing Planet of the Apes right now, so you're really not even in the loop,
Hmm.
and you haven't started on it. So, yeah, I don't know about that.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna buy those figures because one, I don't like Batfleck. The only one I bought was the armored suit that he fought Superman in because I thought the suit was badass, and you can't really see Ben Affleck in it. So, but we saw his suit, the pictures you sent me. We saw his new suit for the Justice League. His normal suit I think looks worse. I don't like the cowl.
Yeah.
And then the body. It was an early prototype, so the body didn't look good. So it's hard to say. I don't want to judge the costume too harshly. It's similar, but a little different. Like it seems like the cape was had like what do they call them? Had like pleating. It had pleats, whereas
Yeah.
before it didn't. But maybe that was just the guy who set up the figure. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like that's not our Justice League. And Aquaman is gonna crash and burn too. Even though I love Aquaman, I'm not one of those Aquaman haters. But Jason Momoa cannot carry the movie.
Are you kidding me? Did you see how well he did in Frontier?
I heard that was awful.
Yeah, you know how I know it's
And you know-
awful? Because Cameron Anderson was like, this looks boring.
They did. No, I didn't get into Hall H this year, even though I tried really hard. But they did apparently hint and show something for the Aquaman movie during the Warner Brothers.
Did they?
Something along those lines. I don't know for sure, but they said or showed something for it that only people at Comic-Con are probably going to get to see. So.
Who cares?
Yeah.
They're gonna show us whatever they have eventually because they need people to care.
Yeah.
All right, what's on next?
All right, so that was Justice League. That's pretty much it for DC. I mean, Yes, that's DC. Marvel was pretty huge.
Oh, no.
Uh,
They announced the Harley Quinn and vs. Joker movie.
What?
they did. I didn't know that.
You guys didn't hear about
No.
that? I
No,
heard about
I
it.
didn't.
Harley Quinn versus
Okay,
Joker?
okay. I didn't read about it. I heard about it on another podcast. So let me confirm
I'm looking
that.
it up right now.
Oh, that sounds
Okay, Harley Quinn versus the
horrifying.
Joker is DC's next big movie.
Oh
What?
my
Oh my
god.
god. Oh my god. They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Oh my god.
Oh god, and they still have Margot Robbie and Jared Leto.
Harley Quinn versus the Joker.
Oh my god.
So they ditched the Birds of Prey movie, which I thought she was gonna be in,
And
or
they
Gotham
decided
City
to do
Sirens,
this?
some shit like that. I don't know. I guess. I mean, I figured the all-girl DC movie would have been better than whatever this is, but oh my god, Harley Quinn versus the Joker. That's gonna be a fun review.
Oh. Well, damn.
Hopefully the movie is nothing but 2 hours of Robbie beating up Leto.
So they screw up Batman versus Superman, and they go to Harley Quinn versus Joker.
Don't forget Suicide Squad. Oh, they fucked up Suicide Squad.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a headache.
I'm
waiting
not
to
even
happen.
buying a Batman Affleck
Who's in
figure
charge?
or a Jared Leto Joker figure because it's so bad, and I buy everything.
Who's in charge? Who's in charge?
You gotta kill Jared Leto's Joker. Just never see him again. Just never ever see him again.
I was secretly banking on the fact that he wasn't really the Joker. Like, he was like Jason Todd or some shit. But,
I know
oh my
people
god.
try to tell themselves that. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if like William Dafoe showed up and killed Jared Leto's Joker, and he's like, "This imposter should have never been here," and then we just pretend like that never happened, and now he's just the Joker.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, let's get away from DC and let's head into
That's so
Marvel.
funny.
Dear God.
So there are a few small things before we talk about Infinity War, because Infinity War is probably the biggest thing that Marvel came out with.
Okay, yeah, let's save that for last.
So the first thing we can talk about is Thor Ragnarok. They dropped a new trailer for that, and I really liked it.
I liked it a
Like-
lot too.
I
Yeah.
did see it. I think I liked the first one better.
I like this one
I like
just
this one
because there's a few
I don't
talking
wanna see-
points.
I don't want to
Alright.
see any more of the Hulk and Thor fight, which we saw more of it. So I was like,
Right, well that's true,
Okay.
but like, because they were also like on the panel, they were talking about the link between Ragnarok and Infinity War, because they kind of spoiled a little bit of it in the Infinity War trailer, but we'll get to that in a minute.
yeah.
But they said specifically with Hulk that in Ragnarok he's going to be dealing with a lot more shit, like psychologically, like that spans over from one movie to Infinity War. So
Hulk is?
yeah, Hulk apparently is going to be dealing with stuff that will carry over into Infinity War. And I think that was kind of showcased a little bit at the end when you saw him talking very clearly.
Yeah.
So I think they might pull one
something
of the,
happens, yeah.
They pulled that in the comics where, and I have this argument with Cameron all the time, and I think it was Uatu the Watcher separates the minds of Bruce Banner and the Hulk.
Yeah.
I'm
that's
sorry.
what I was gonna say.
There was an
Yeah.
Infinity War trailer.
Yeah, well, not okay.
Yeah,
so
we'll
it wasn't
get to it,
released
we'll
in
get
public,
to
We'll
it.
get to that in a minute. So that's
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok. The trailer was what'd you guys think of it?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
So I only watched it once. I was like in the airport, but it definitely seems cool. It's my most anticipated, ahead of Black Panther. I guess those are the only ones left. Before there was Guardians and Spider-Man 2, but we got past those. Most anticipated is Thor Ragnarok. I love the director. I think Chris Hemsworth is gonna get a chance to shine. I didn't see a whole lot in the trailer that gave me concern, other than we saw more of Hela, and I think that sort of broke the mystique a little bit for me, because she was so cool in that other trailer. We also got to look at her action figure, her Hot Toys figure.
Yeah.
I don't know. In the trailer, doesn't she say something like, I'm not something, I'm the goddess of death?
Yeah, I'm not just a villain. Or I'm not.
Something like that. Like, what were you
It's
the
weird
god
that
of
she
again?
says that,
And then Hulk
but I
comes
hope that
down,
that's
like,
the case. I
she's
hope
like,
she's not grounded.
yeah, she's I'm the goddess of death. What were you the god of again? And Thor comes down like in a blaze of lightning.
With fire.
Oh yeah. So he's got.
Yeah.
He's
The
like got
idea
lightning
is
power
that
now.
like the hammer isn't what gives him the lightning. The hammer focuses the lightning. Someone was having a discussion about this. He
So-
creates the light. Like he is the god of thunder. Like that's
Yeah,
what he is.
I kind of want to call something. I don't think it might. I don't think it'll happen, but I kind of want to call it before it happens. So just in case, I think my prediction for this movie is that Thor is gonna die and come back to life in some way. I don't know, but because like
Okay.
they say that like the Soul Stone is gonna be in this movie, right? Possibly.
They say that, yeah.
So maybe that might have something to do with it. But yeah, okay. So anyway, that was Thor Ragnarok. The other two things that well, there's three things actually. So they had stuff for Black Panther. As far as I know,
No. Let's keep talking about Thor.
Okay.
What is Odin the god of?
Odin
The
is
god of
just
gods.
the god of. I don't think he has a title. He's just
Well,
Odin,
he's
the
got.
king of
He's also
Asgard.
like the god of wisdom. Well, no, he like sacrifices an eye.
According to Wikipedia, Odin is associated with healing, death, royalty, and gallows, knowledge, battle, sorcery, poetry, frenzy, and the runic alphabet.
I think just
It doesn't say, yeah.
I think he specifically like in the comics, he's just known as the most powerful god of Asgard.
Okay, but so then, okay, are they gods or are they aliens? 'Cause I thought they were aliens.
They're alien
They
gods.
They kind of mentioned that in like I think they mentioned that what was it in the Dark World where like we're not gods, we live for like what did Loki say like a few millennia or something? Is that it? A couple 100,000 years.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think
I don't
they're
know.
gods because they can be killed, but I think they're very powerful beings. And they live in another realm, so
But he wields the power of thunder.
yeah.
So what makes him so special that he does that, but other Asgardians don't?
I have no idea.
I hope that that's explained. I feel like they're gonna just skim over that.
Yeah. What did you think of the other Hot Toys figures that I sent you for Thor Ragnarok? Because they had a lot of them. They had two Thors.
I'm not that interested in Valkyrie. At this point, I'll buy one of every character in the MCU just for my collection.
Mm-hmm.
I'll buy Hela if they make her. Hot Toys hasn't been making the villains recently. There hasn't been any sign of Vulture, unfortunately. No Yellow Jacket, no Malekith. Obviously, Malekith's not that fun. No Ronin. So yeah, there's been a lot of like disappointment there. I feel like they showed a Crossbones prototype. They showed a Yellow Jacket prototype. It never went up for order. So I feel like Hela might be the same. Typically, female figures don't sell as well, so I'm surprised they even made Valkyrie. She must have a pretty big role.
Well, she's the new love interest, so
She is a new love interest, but still, she must have like a lot of action scenes or something.
something along those lines. I mean, they showed a little bit of her in Hela, so maybe
Yeah.
that's like her fall from grace or something.
Yeah, she's like riding the horse or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought they were really cool. Again, the Justice League ones weren't too crazy for me, but Yondu, that looked cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna get Yondu, and then I saw a lot of the Star Wars ones. Yeah, those look good too.
I like the Groot one. If you ever got that one, like they have a life-size Groot, baby Groot.
The baby Groot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get that, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah. No, I'm gonna get like the 6 scale like Guardians Star Lord.
Yeah.
So he comes with like a 6 scale baby Groot. You know, that's good enough for me. I don't need an actual baby Groot.
They also had they had Loki there, and they had a whole bunch of accessories with him. Like he has
Yeah.
he came with the Tesseract and that other thing.
So that's interesting. So you're telling me that the Tesseract is gonna be in Thor Ragnarok? Because that's the figure for Thor Ragnarok, right?
It might, but there's a mention of the Tesseract.
No.
in-
It has to be if it's with the figure. It's licensed to the movie.
well,
So
I'll,
that means it's in it.
yeah. Well, there's more of that. Like when we get to Infinity War. So
Okay.
all right.
I didn't really like Loki's blue outfit. You know, for action figure collectors, I'm gonna stick with the one I have. But the
yeah,
green.
I kind of agree with that.
But whatever, it's a change.
Yeah.
They're all wearing something different. I like Thor's gladiator outfit.
Yeah. What did you think of the figure? Because I thought that figure looked really good. Just
I'm gonna buy it, but I'm hoping it comes with like a version where you can just see his short hair.
yeah,
I
it does.
prefer
It
that.
comes with multiple heads. I don't know if you caught that when I sent you the picture.
Oh no, no, no! I just saw the helmeted head. Does
Yeah,
it
no,
have
on the bottom. I don't know if I caught it in the picture, but it came with multiple hands and it came with multiple heads.
Oh, I don't think I saw the head. I'm actually trying to. I'm looking right now.
I'll see if I can find it in there.
Well, no, you keep going. I'll look.
Yeah, you can kind of see it down there next to Valkyrie's face. There's a couple hands down there by his feet.
I see hands by his feet.
And there's one or two heads behind Valkyrie that I saw. There was like an angry face. There was a solemn face.
You're talking about Thor?
No, I'm talking about
Hulk.
the Hulk. I'm talking about the Hulk.
Oh no, I'm talking about Thor.
Oh, they're talking about Thor.
Yeah, I know. I saw that for the Hulk. That's pretty standard. I am gonna get the Gladiator Hulk one though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's a novelty and it's gonna sell out. So I don't want to not have it.
The Doctor Strange one looked good as well.
I saw that. That's their first try. Hot Toys' first try. So I think I'm gonna wait on that one and see what they do for Infinity War.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
All right. So yeah, that was Thor Ragnarok. They did. I don't know if they released a trailer for Black Panther, but they talked a little bit about that.
They did, right?
I
Not
don't.
a
I don't
new
know if they
trailer.
released a new
I
trailer.
haven't heard
they
anything
didn't.
about it.
No. But
They,
he was in the Infinity War trailer.
Yeah, he was in the Infinity War
Which
trailer,
I
but,
did not know existed.
But we'll get to that in a minute. There's only one more thing before we get to that. The last thing before we get to that is they finally started to talk a little bit more about Captain Marvel. And the only thing I learned about that was that they confirmed that she's going to be fighting the Skrull in her movie.
Okay, but here's another thing that I saw. It's set in the 1990s.
Yeah, I heard about that as well. I didn't really know what that was, though.
What do you mean? What?
Well, you see, Everett, before the year 2000.
No. Okay. I mean, how are they going to play that? Like,
From what I understand, the purpose of that would be to have her be fully ready to fight and throw down by Infinity War.
all right. Okay, that makes
But I don't know
sense.
what else. I mean, obviously she's going to be in the 90s and then she's going to go off into space and have her adventure. So,
Right, okay.
but okay, that reminds me of another timeline issue. Okay, when we did the Spider-Man review, I forgot that the Avengers movie happened in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a discrepancy there. Because the movie says 8 years later. Right?
Yeah.
8 years later is
2020.
2016 because the movie takes place after Civil War.
Wait, but
correct?
from 20...
Right.
But you said they were all...
That's what I'm saying. They either made a mistake or something is not right. So 2016 minus 8, that puts you at... what is it? I'm like blanking on the math right now. My brain is... 2008, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would put him at 2008, which is when the first Iron Man came out. So 8 years ago, so something's not right. You see what I'm saying?
People
So
think
2012,
that. People think that has
if
to.
it's-
Go on. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Everett.
People online think that might have something to do. Like they think that it's on purpose, and that they might pull something with the Time Stone in Infinity War, or in Avengers 4.
I don't know. I think it's just oversight.
Yeah.
But so if you take 2012 plus 8, that puts you at 2020, which would put Civil War at 2020.
That's interesting.
But they came out and said that unless specifically stated, all the Marvel movies are in real time. Like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 takes place in 2014.
Mhm.
Black Panther will take place in 2016 after Civil War. But now I don't know if that's 2016. So I think maybe Spider-Man screwed up, or it's all a mess. I don't know. Okay, you said there was one thing before Infinity War, but there's also the Defenders
Yeah.
trailer.
Oh well, no. I was gonna get to that like with TV. There's a whole television section that I have.
Oh, okay. All right, then let's talk about Infinity War.
And the last thing I
Um,
want to say is that Michelle Pfeiffer is confirmed for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they got Catwoman too, huh?
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet Van Dyne.
She's Janet Van Dyne?
Yep.
I always pictured someone like Susan Sarandon or something
Yeah,
to pair with Michael Douglas, but I guess she's a little bit younger than him though.
a little. Yeah, I guess.
is Michael Douglas still going to be in it?
I
I heard
have
that he didn't
I
want
have
to.
no idea. I didn't check the IMDb page yet.
So
But
she's the Wasp. Huh? That's good casting. That'll be cool. Um, that's exciting.
yeah. But anyway,
Okay, so Infinity War trailer.
yeah. So what they did for Infinity
Boom,
War
boom,
was
boom.
they did the same thing that they did at D23, I think it was. Is that they showed everyone experimental test footage and a trailer that probably won't get released to the public, but they have synopsises of them online that I read, and a lot
Yeah.
of shit
Well,
goes down. Like,
There is a sloppy cam footage one that I saw.
Can
Did
someone
you guys see
explain
that?
to me what it is? Because I've seen nothing.
Okay, let me tell you a few of the things that I remember.
Mhm.
It starts off with the Guardians of the Galaxy flying through space. I'm not sure where they're going because I can barely see like the picture.
I'll look up a
But,
synopsis just in case.
Yeah, yeah. Look up a synopsis. And Thor hits their windshield, and he's like barely alive. But it's meant to be like comical. Um, so yeah, that's how Thor meets them, and they go to Earth at some point. There was Black Panther. It showed Black Panther. It showed Steve Rogers with a beard and his nomad suit. So he's wearing a black Captain America outfit.
Mhm.
I don't know if it still has the star on it and all that, but that looks like it's going to be a pretty cool action figure, so I'm excited for that. Bucky was shown with longer hair and a beard, but not as big of a beard as Chris Evans. I kind of hope that they would cut Bucky's hair. Also, it's been confirmed that Bucky will not be in Black Panther, so the next time we see him will be in Infinity War.
All right, I found a synopsis.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So basically, what they showed was the trailer begins with a passed-out Thor floating in space, and the Guardians of the Galaxy hit him as they're flying through space in the Milano. He's stuck to the windshield, and Rocket proposes they use the windshield wipers to wake him up. Thor is brought into the Milano, wakes up, and says, "Who the hell are you guys?" They cut to Loki holding the Tesseract, holding it up to a figure taller than him. A shot of Spider-Man on a bus with his arm hair standing up, confirming the Spidey sense. Iron Man working
Okay,
with the Guardians.
let's stop there.
Okay.
So Loki has the Tesseract. Sounds like he's offering it to somebody.
I would
So
assume that's Thanos, right?
It's going to be in play in Ragnarok, probably.
Probably.
Um,
That's what I was going to say. That's probably why they have it on the Hot Toys figure.
Yeah. Also, they played. First of all, they played Rogue One on the cruise ship,
Hmm.
and I really liked it. Like I forgot how that was actually a great movie. And then they played Civil War, and watching Civil War, I really felt like Spider-Man in that movie was better than the entire Homecoming movie.
Yeah?
And then when I saw him in this trailer where the hairs on his arm stick out,
Hmm.
okay, there's been discussion about whether or not he has spider sense because they didn't do it in Homecoming, and I think that Homecoming was just stupid because it was definitely in Civil War. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Kinda, yeah.
Where like when Winter Soldier throws
He
like that metal thing at
notices
his head,
it.
he's like, "Oh God!" right before and dodges it. Yeah, that's his spider sense. So in this movie, this trailer, it shows the hair standing up on his arm, and like he looks up, like, "What's gonna happen?" Like I feel like that captured Spider-Man so much better than many parts of the Homecoming movie. As time goes on, I'm less and less interested in that movie.
Hmm.
And just so you know, you guys probably know this, I usually see all the Marvel movies 3 times, and I only saw this one twice, and I just don't care to see it 3 times. That's pretty telling. So,
Hmm.
anyway, go ahead, Everett. What's next?
Alright, anyway, so yeah, hair standing up, confirmed Spider Sense. Iron Man is working with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Thanos arrives through a black hole.
Does
Avengers,
he arrive
Oh
in his?
wait, I have
his
heard about
seat?
this.
yeah, he arrives through. I don't know what he arrives in, but I know he
Seat.
arrives through a black hole.
No, because that's what he used to teleport in the comics. His chair.
I don't think he comes with the chair. He walks through the black hole. And
The reason I ask is because I have a version of the Hot Toys figure from Guardians where he has the chair. So, like, if they don't release him again with the chair, that'll make the value of mine go up. That's all.
I don't know. We'll see. But I also know for a fact, and they're not saying in this synopsis, that throughout this entire trailer, Thanos is giving a monologue about, like, what it's about, like, losing and winning and, like, hardships and stuff like that. I don't know. It's very convoluted. I don't remember. But
I did not like seeing Thanos without his helmet. That seemed a little weird.
yeah?
He looked weird. pinheaded.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But here, anyway, let me continue. So he arrives to battle in the black hole. Avengers and Spider-Man are shown. Spider-Man is wearing his new suit from the end of Homecoming, so he's in the Iron Spider armor.
Yeah.
But we knew that was
That's
gonna
fine
happen.
for that movie. Whatever.
Right. And they also don't say this in the synopsis, but they also show a scene where Tony Stark is cradling Peter's head, and Peter's crying heavily and saying, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake," or something along those lines. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. So there's that. The rest of the synopsis is cut to Peter with his mask saying, "I'm sorry." Oh yeah, actually no, wait, fuck. They just said it. Never mind. Never mind. I didn't read ahead. So anyway, rest of it is Thanos is battling Doctor Strange and Star-Lord. Star-Lord is jumping off portals and platforms made by Doctor Strange. It shows Captain America with a beard. Black Widow is now blonde, and Thanos uses the 2 Infinity Stones that he's collected with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Which ones?
It doesn't specifically say which ones, but it says that he uses them to pull the moon down onto a planet and throws it at the Avengers.
What? I want to see that.
He literally pulls a moon out of orbit and throws it at them.
I think I will see this movie.
Yeah. Let me double check to see
There
what
was
stones
no
he
doubt
has.
in your mind you were gonna see it.
No, I know. I'm just joking. But I'm like, I really want to see the trailer. Like, what do you mean he pulled a moon down? I just want to see that.
Where is this?
He pulled a moon down and threw it at the Avengers. And Black Widow was like, "Hold on, guys, I got this."
I want to know what stones he has, cause
Maybe Hawkeye fired an arrow at the moon to stop it.
Where is this? I don't know. I'll keep looking, but yeah. So that's
ahead,
basically the
finish it.
trailer.
Yeah.
I really want to find out what stones he has, because I know for a fact he has 2 of them.
Oh, I hope they kill Vision.
Oh, yeah.
I heard that Vision is actually more human in this one.
Yeah, no, okay. So I'm pretty sure that there were 2 separate trailers at D23 and at Comic-Con, because I remember hearing different scenes at the one from D23. Like the one from D23 showed 2 extra scenes. They showed one of Vision getting imprisoned, and they showed one of Thor getting his head grabbed by Thanos and squeezing as hard as he can using the Infinity Gauntlet. So
Yeah, it's gonna be a good movie.
someone's using the Hulkbuster armor. It shows an image of Black Panther and Bucky in front of the Wakandan army.
Hey, what'd you guys think of Hulk's haircut?
I like it.
What, like it's more
It
clean?
looks a little weird,
I-
but like
He looks young. I don't
I
like it.
Eh,
I prefer the other one.
you just
Um,
hate old people.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking of like, am I gonna buy another Hulk figure with that haircut, or am I just gonna keep the one I have from Age of Ultron? I think I'm gonna keep the one I have. I don't know. Okay, what else, Everett?
Hold on, because I think I found what I was looking for. He has 2 Infinity Stones, the Soul Stone and the Blue Stone.
Okay, the Soul Stone. We don't know where that is.
So
And the
he-
Blue Stone is the Tesseract.
Yeah, the
so
Tesseract.
fucking Loki gave it to him.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Okay, so yeah, so that's basically Infinity War. I think it's gonna be great based on what they've shown.
I mean, it seems like there's gonna be some consequences.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what else?
There were 2 other movies. It was Blade Runner and Pacific Rim 2 got teased.
Told you there was gonna be a Pacific Rim 2. Y'all
fun.
told me.
Yeah,
it
they had a-
wasn't
Blade
gonna
Runner.
be there.
Did you guys see the original Blade Runner?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I did. I really liked it.
Did you? I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't
I
get
liked
into it.
I didn't think it was amazing.
liked it.
But I liked it.
I liked.
Do you guys want to
book.
review that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could review it. The book was also really good too.
Yeah. Do Android's
The
Dream.
book for Blade
do
Runner?
Yeah, it was,
Android's
Android's Dream of Electric Sheep.
It's the book that inspired Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
So if I read the book instead of watch the movie, am I gonna get the story?
They're a little different,
but mostly you'll understand. Yes. But
Yeah,
it's
you'll get the.
Basically, should I read the book or watch the movie? Because I really couldn't get into the movie.
It'd probably be best to watch the movie first, just because I know the movie's a little different. But the book is also very good because I had to read that for class when I was in 10th grade.
Is there a novelization of the movie?
There
I
might
guess I'll
be,
try to find it.
but I have no idea.
Okay.
But anyway, so yeah, the Pacific Rim 2. The only thing I saw on that was they had a booth. The Jaegers don't look realistic at all. They look more cartoony.
Is it an animated movie?
It looks more animated. Like I'll send you guys a picture. I got a fan with a picture of the new Gypsy Danger. It's called Gypsy Avenger,
Uh-huh.
and it looks more cartoonish. And they have a website you can go to that shows you. It's called GoYaeger.com.
GoYaeger.com.
Yeah.
GoYaeger.com. Typing it in right now. Okay, whatever. What else?
Okay, so yeah, that's movies. Moving to TV. So they had new trailers for Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow. But
Okay,
I
I don't
mean,
care about any of
yeah,
this.
you don't really care. They had a whole thing for The Gifted, which was the show on Fox about the mutants versus the
X-Men?
Sentinel Corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had a whole booth for that. I think it looks really cool, but depending, I don't really know what you guys think.
I want them to stop with these X-Men stuff and just reboot the whole thing.
Mhm.
I had enough.
The-
Alright, what else?
Apparently, Iron Fist is getting a new showrunner for the next season.
Oh, jeez. Are they getting a new stunt coordinator, too?
I don't
Fight
know,
choreographer?
but there's going to be a new main character, and that's pretty much all I figured out for that.
A new main character?
Mm.
I still want my idea of what's his name to die and Colleen to take over.
It'd be a good
Danny
idea.
Rand
I'm not
to
going to
die.
lie.
Yeah. Alright, what
Okay,
else?
so there's that. They had stuff for Westworld. They had a whole thing for Hall H for Stranger Things.
No.
I got
That's a little overrated. It was a good show, but come
yeah, a
on.
little bit. I got really hooked on this new Netflix. Well, not new, but it's the Netflix show Voltron. It's
I've
Okay.
watched
it's for
that.
kids, but I got really. I really like it. I got really into it.
I watched
But
the
the main
entire
thing I
thing.
wanted to mention was that they
Is
finally.
that something new? I thought that
They
Voltron
made
was
a
something
new
that already
one
existed.
on Netflix.
It came out last
Okay.
year, and the third season was premiered at Comic-Con. I
Oh.
sat through it to sit through the Zombies panel, which I'll get to in a sec when we get to video games, but that's not really what I want to talk about. The main thing I want to talk about for television was that they finally released a teaser for Krypton on Sci-Fi.
Who cares?
I mean, they had a whole thing for it. They debuted like a little bit of the first episode. It looks actually decent. It doesn't look terrible, but it looks kind of like what Man of Steel was putting through. It's a little different though.
Okay. I mean, I probably won't watch it all.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for reviews, though.
So yeah, there's that. But then the last thing I want to talk about was games. There's a few things for gaming there. Well, actually,
Oh,
there's two
video
more
games.
things. There's games. First one was Destiny 2. They didn't really talk about that. I sat through
Beta's
the
been
panel for Destiny
extended
2.
sorry.
until Tuesday, by the way.
So there was a beta?
There was a beta. It is going on still.
Yeah, it's extended till
Okay.
Tuesday.
It's pretty good. The panel didn't really talk about anything. It was mainly just the developers and the storyboard artists talking about how they made the game. They had the guy from The Wire who voices Zavala come up on stage and start talking about his experience voicing the character and stuff like that. But no, I got
Was
really
the beta any good?
the beta was really good.
Yeah, I mean, you can
At
only
least,
do a few things in it, so
Yeah, they have two
Okay.
Crucible game modes: the first mission and
a strike.
a strike. Yeah.
Okay. else?
So there's that. And I'll tell you the story of how I got fucked over twice at this con. But the second video game I want to talk about was Call of Duty World War II Zombies. I sat through the panel for that. I'm not gonna lie, it looks absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, because it's a horror
Oh,
game.
God.
Well, yeah, they have the guy who made Dead Space making
Yeah.
it. So
Wait. Is this a different game than
No,
Call
it's
of
the
Duty World War
bonus
II?
mode in
No,
COD World War II.
it's the bonus mode.
Okay.
But
That
the
you have to
trailer
No,
they
it comes
released,
with the game. It's just another thing
Okay.
you can do if you want.
yeah, the trailer
Okay.
they released looks absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it does.
Like, I honestly got freaked out watching this trailer. They didn't release it online yet, I don't think, but it looks really good.
I agree. It does.
Okay.
So
So you
there's-
saw it, Emerson? So it is
yeah,
online?
the trailer
Is it?
is online. I saw it online.
Okay, I'll have to
It
watch
is
that after.
It is
Yeah.
terrifying.
yeah, they had a lot of weird shit going on in that panel. That panel was out of control. But yeah, no, I got fucked over on that panel and on Destiny 2 because they gave out tickets to get either a free limited edition poster for World War II Zombies and a free emblem for Destiny 2, and I got in line for both of them, and they ran out before I got to the front, so that sucks. I mean, and the last thing I sat in on Comic-Con that really made a difference, honestly, was I went to a writing panel where they had a couple people who've written novels and stuff. They had a guy who wrote a Hitchhiker's Guide sitting there. They had the guy who wrote Save the Cat sitting there. They were talking about, like, skills for writing, how to design alien races and civilizations, and, like, talking about extraterrestrial life. I thought that was really cool. I made notes on that as well. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of
What
cool.
else?
Other than that, there's a few things on the floor. There's they showed the first rendition of Xbox One X. They showed it was on the floor. They showed you like how it was built and all the internal workings and stuff. They had
Still coming in November?
supposedly. I mean, I got
Hey,
it.
did Fusion Frenzy ever
Not as of
appear?
yet.
Nope.
Did you guys ever play that spider game while I was gone?
I did. No one else plays it. Okay, there's multiple classes of armor, one of which has a jetpack that allows you...
Wait, what's it called?
Earth Defense Force, Alien Invasion 2.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
like $20.
there's
yeah.
multiple classes of armor, one of which has a jetpack and allows you to fly, and I fly up onto buildings to engage them. There's
Okay.
another class that can set down automated turrets and shields. Like, it's way more immersive than... Like, there's a lot more than we thought.
Okay. Alright, keep going, Everett.
They had a beta for the new what is it? The new Lord of the Rings War for Middle Earth or something going on in the Xbox
The Shadow
booth.
of War.
Oh, yeah, the sequel.
Yeah, that one. whatever
Shadow.
it
There
is.
you go. Okay.
I had no interest in it, but I saw it there. They had stuff for board games. They had stuff for Dungeons and Dragons, but you guys don't care about that. They had something for Warhammer that I almost got into, but the panel was so packed that I couldn't get
Wait,
into it.
what was it for Warhammer?
It was something they're doing for it's like a pitch for a new TV series.
The fuck? Okay.
I don't know. They were talking something about it's Warhammer 40K, something about a new TV series. I don't really know what it was, but I couldn't get into the panel. But I did end up getting you something from Warhammer that's coming.
Sick!
In,
Oh.
Awesome.
so there's that. Other than that, I mean, nothing really else I saw.
Okay. So Defenders trailer.
Oh yeah, fuck, I forgot the Defenders. Yeah, the Defenders trailer came out. I don't really know how to feel about it, honestly.
It didn't look that good. It didn't look that good.
Yeah.
Okay, by far, Iron Fist is the
Yeah.
weakest part.
Yeah.
But Luke Cage is like kind of down there too. And Matt Murdock is still the most interesting. You could basically get rid of the rest and I'd still watch it. But Jessica Jones is like a wild card. I think she'll be fine. But I'm not sure.
Elektra thing. She's definitely there.
Yeah. It just didn't get me that excited. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. It just seems like more bullshit. Like, hey, you're not ready for this. And then they're going to have like poorly choreographed fight scenes and then. Like, I hope it's better
Yeah,
than
we
that.
all
But
hope it's better than that.
They also,
I am interested in buying the figures. Hopefully they make all the figures. So.
Yeah. They also had stuff for the Inhumans, but I didn't really care about that. It looked awful.
So I heard that the Inhumans were confirmed to cross over with Agents of
Oh
Shield.
god.
Great.
I mean, they look the same. So it's both ABC stuff, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, Inhumans, man. I don't know. I really like the actor. At least two of the actors I know are really good, but I hate this widespread mutation nonsense. It gets too big to control, like for the writers.
Yeah.
They're like in space.
They're on the moon.
Yeah, what the hell is that? I don't know. I mean, I'll give it a chance. I'm definitely gonna go see it in IMAX when it comes out. So.
Mhm.
But yeah. Okay, that's a long episode. We're about to hit 2
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah,
So-
that's pretty much it.
Okay, so what's next? Dunkirk. Have
I
you
have
guys
not
seen
seen
it yet?
it yet, but I'm going to.
Have not seen it.
Okay, I've seen it. So as soon as you guys see it, we will do the
Okay.
episode.
All right, sounds good.
And then after that, I don't know.
We'll go to that.
Valerian, maybe. I'm keeping an eye on Valerian to see if it's worth seeing.
Okay.
I'm gonna go see Valerian just cause I don't know.
Well, are you going to see Dunkirk first?
I'm gonna-
I'll review Valerian. I don't care.
I'm gonna see Dunkirk first, but I'll see Valerian as well.
Okay,
I
so
will
you guys
only see
Dunkirk.
Valerian if you guys tell me that like it's worth it.
Okay, well that's what I was waiting for. But if he's going to see it anyway, then we'll just do Dunkirk first, and then we'll see where we are. I'll look and see at the reviews. And
We'll
see how
cross
it's
that
going.
bridge when we get to it.
Okay.
Okay, so signing off. See you
Cool.
guys later.
See ya.
Bye.